Hey everyone, K14 here, Sunday nights on Facebook Live. I go over trainings that we feature in our Facebook group. So this month is July, and we will be learning about how to buy a house, home buying, the lending process, anything you need to know we're going to cover this month. So if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. Also, post on here, let me know how many houses you have owned. That's a good one. How many houses have you owned? I want to see what everyone's working with, what experience we are bringing to the table, who's got what, and then to let you know, I have owned 3 homes, and I will be 3, not 6, 3 homes. I will be going over that next week on the training to give you my story of how I got to those houses and the trials and tribulations that can occur and all that. So that will be super fun for some of my fans who don't know the whole story. Okay, cool. 2 houses. Okay. That's okay. 0. You're about to get 1. It's good. You're good. Okay. So just some housekeeping. I am on Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, and I will be launching a podcast soon also, which is super exciting. So be looking for that. And obviously on Facebook is my main friend. So there's a lot to cover regarding buying a house. Obviously, it's a huge investment. It's very stressful, even for someone who has great credit and money to put down and knows what they want. It's still stressful. So if you are in the process, if you've been through the process, I understand how it goes and how difficult it can be, how stressful. So one thing that's a great start to give you some background as to that way you're not house poor. You get the house, okay, yeah, that's nice, but now you can't afford your bills. So one thing which is a great start is to figure out how much house you can afford. You can go backwards by saying, okay, I want a $1,300 payment. That's it. That's max. That's HOA with the taxes and insurance all included, $1,300 out the door, right? So how much is that? How much house can you afford? So if $1,300 is your limit, then you need to figure out what type of house, how big of a house. Is this a 3-bedroom, a 4-bedroom? What exactly can you afford? That would be step 1. Because if you're over here looking at $600,000 houses on Zillow and knowing that your spouse is a pencil sharpener for a living, it's not going to work. It's not going to work for you. Boo-boo? No. So another thing to do is get a pre-approval. So before you waste your time, before you waste a realtor's time and have them, I see those little loves, before you have them waste their time, drive around town showing you houses, they're not going to waste their time until they know you can actually afford this house or are in the right steps to be able to get a house. So if your credit isn't what it needs to be, or you're having issues with budgeting or paying off debt, I also have 3 coaching programs where I look at your numbers and what you can afford and your credit and see what we can do to fix it to get you in that position in the next 6 to 12 months or less, some people. So how much house you can afford. So with a pre-approval, that basically is you going through a lender and saying, hey, this is how much money I make. This is what I owe, like debts, credit cards, car payments, whatever. And going from there to figure out if you can even get a house. For example, this house that we have now, we got pre-approved for $300K when we applied with the builder. Come to find out, we were approved for a lot more, but 300 was like my max. I was like, no more, no less, which we ended up getting less, and you'll hear about next week our story. But that's just, you need to know what you can afford. And a realtor's not going to waste their time and drive around the whole city trying to show you all these nice houses that you can't afford, that's just going to frustrate you and make you sad. It's a waste of your time and their time, and it literally just puts a damp on your parade because you're all hyped for a new house, woo woo, and you can't afford it. So realtors also offer a thing called a portal. This helped me dramatically figure out what I and my spouse, what we like in a house, right? So you need to basically come up with a wish list, like dream. If you want to buy a house, you're in the position to buy a house, you're in the process of buying a house, you know, dream a little. Write down what you want. You want a walk-in closet. You want high ceilings. You want a big backyard. You want a pool. Anything and everything that you want, put on that paper, because at the end of the day, it's going to help you when you're ready to buy to know what you're looking for. So you can say, nope, denied. So the portal helped me sift through the ones that weren't going to work out for me and go from there to find what I wanted and what we were looking for. So, and don't buy at your max approval amount. Exactly, because that literally is your max for a reason, because you're pushing the limits at that point. So obviously there are different, let me do a disclaimer. There are different requirements for different lenders. Obviously, everybody's going to have different needs and wants and what they expect from you per the lending of house mortgage. So the information that I'm giving you is very generic and general, average estimations per 2019 mortgage lending on some sites, okay? Obviously do your homework, search around, you know, but so FHA. Does anybody know what FHA stands for? Type it in the comments. Who's the winner? Nobody? Okay. I'm going to go ahead because there's a delay. FHA. So they require the lowest 580 credit score with a 3.5% down. So if you're looking at a $250,000 house, that's $8,750 you need to have saved up in order to buy a house. Okay? It's a lot of money. For someone who doesn't have any money in their savings, you need to save up. DTI, so debt to income ratio. That is a very, very important. Good job, Cass. Good job. Sherry Lynn, almost administration, not association. Federal Housing Administration. She threw me off. So debt to income. So what they want to do is they want to make sure that you can afford the house, the mortgage on the house, the HOA fees, the taxes on the property, the homeowner's insurance in case it blows up or burns down. Cassie wins because she's correct. All of those things. So 31% to 43% are the going rate. Sometimes they'll push it 45-ish percentage, and that's with you adding up all of your debts as opposed to your income. This goes off of your gross income, not your net. So it goes off of before taxes, debt to income. Another thing that you need to realize is mortgage insurance premium, or now they call it private, now they call it that. They used to call it private mortgage insurance. If you do not put 20% down on your mortgage, then you have to pay this extra fee. For us in our house, on this house, it was $155 a month extra on top of the mortgage, on top of the insurance and taxes, on top of all that, an extra $155 because we didn't put 20% down. We only put 10%, which I will explain why next week on Sunday. But if you can, Dave Ramsey says do the 100% plan. Go live in your mama's basement and save up $200,000 in 5 years with you and your spouse working, and pay cash for a house. That's not realistic for normal people in normal America with debt. So normal people, best case scenario, please put down 20%. That will be epic. That will help you. You won't have to pay the private mortgage insurance premium, whatever you want to call it. So conventional, you can put down 3%. You need to have a 620 or 640 score. The difference between the two for me, we went conventional because we put 10% down. The difference was I was able to hire an appraiser to come and get the private mortgage insurance off of my mortgage, which I just did a couple months ago. So with FHA, you cannot do that. So if you want to do that in the future, and because we have equity, we had enough equity and it hit the 20% over amount that we were able to do that. Awesome. So they're looking at your credit score. They want to know your down payment. They're also going to look at how long you've been at the same job. So you're over here switching jobs. They're like, ooh, I don't know, boo-boo, because you might not be working there in a few months. So how are you going to pay your bills, right? So you just need to make sure you stay at the same job. So for example, I was a teacher for 7 years and I stayed at that job. And this last house that we bought, this one, I was no longer working. And they didn't count my income, but they counted my credit score because it was higher than my husband's on our total picture of our loan. Okay. So they're going to take all these factors and they're going to be like, oh, is she a risk? Is she going to pay her bills? You know, is she going to make it happen when she has no income? Yes, boo-boo, I will. I will. And I did because I'm not working and we're still figuring it out. So the debt to income, I'm looking at my phone, so let me tablet, sorry. I'll put it right here. Oh, you can see it. Debt to income up to 45% needs higher than 700 score. Okay, so if you have a super high debt to income, they're obviously going to want you to compensate for that with a better credit score. They're going to say, well, you need to do something. If you have a VA, if you are very, very, thank you for your service. I appreciate everyone who is in the veteran field. Whatever field in military you're in, awesome. Happy 4th of July just passed. You do not need a down payment. You will not pay a PMI or a MIP. You need a 620 score and your debt to income 41% or lower. Okay? Alika, what's good to know? Okay, requirement. So homeowners insurance, we talked about that. A home appraisal. So if you're buying a house, even a new build, if you're buying a house, you want to have your house appraised just to make sure it's worth what you're paying. Because if the appraiser comes back and says, ooh, it's not worth that much, why are you taking out a loan for that much when the house isn't even worth that much? You're just going to be paying more. It makes 0 sense. Zero. Also, obviously, have an inspection. Listen, too many people buy houses with plumbing, electrical, obviously flooring you can see with your eyeballs, but so many issues. They buy the house, they're super excited, all of a sudden there's a leak and they got mold. Oh, did you do a inspection? No? Oh, well, do an inspection. It's worth it. Cover your butt at the end of the day. I can't say anything else. Please make sure you do that. Facts. Okay. So job history, at least 2 years. Some would like 3. For your credit score, they're going to look at the middle score. So if you have 610, 620, 630, they're going to take the 620, okay, of your 3 bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Bank stubs. They are going to want your bank stubs for at least 2 months probably, because they want to make sure you're not doing anything crazy, depositing, you know, $6,000 for your side job, and they're like, ooh, what does she really do on the side? So just to give you some idea, at my bank, I had to go and have them print it out for me because I wasn't using my ink and my paper. So they did it for me. That was nice of them. I think I paid like $3 though, but it was worth it because I didn't want to deal with it. Pay stubs are going to want to look at least the last 30 days. Some want the last 3 months, 90 days. So just be aware if you're trying to be sneaky and not work, you know, the full time, yeah, that's like fraud probably. Okay, they're going to want last year's W-2s because, yeah, you got a nice job, but you weren't making that last year. So figure that out. Taxes, that's W-2s. Okay, so if you're buying a house that's already built, you're obviously going to want to put in an offer on that house because somebody's selling it. They're selling their house to get rid of their house, whatever. So there's going to be some competition depending on the market. So for example, our house is very expensive, but we don't owe that much. So if we were to sell it, we would have a lot of equity. Now, am I in a rush to move and sell my house and get a new house? No. We plan on staying here for a few years. So, but at the end of the day, since I'm not in a rush, I will just chill. I will not take my first offer. I'm not getting any low balls. If you want to offer me what I'm putting up there, that's great. If not, next, keep it moving. I'm going to take the one who's going to give me, the full amount that I'm asking, right? Of course. Okay, so don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. I got one more thing to go over too, but I will be still launching my Money Boss Academy, which will feature getting on a budget, how to pay off your debt, make a plan for that, and to build your credit score. My grandma made this super cute giraffe, jirafe, which is hilarious because my best friend's little brother used to call me that, giraffe, because I'm so tall. I'm like almost 6 foot. But in it, I will be putting groceries, gas, fun money, and probably coupons in this one because we all know how I do. But it's super cute. So she made it, and I love it. Thanks, Manny. Okay. So a lot of you are not following me on everything. Very sad face, by the way. And some of you are still not in my email list. I'm about to go through and message all of you. But for next week, I will be going over my 3 houses, what the process was, how much I paid for them, all that. I think it's not going down. Okay. One of the first-time home buyers programs that I found that was actually worth it, and I know, right? She made it. Isn't it the cutest? It is called, I'm looking, home inspection. Okay, Home Ready, Home Possible. So write that down. Home Ready, Home Possible, and then I'll go over the loan requirements for the lendersnetwork.com is where I found that. 5 low or no down payment mortgage loans, the Lenders Network. They have great affordable, 3% down, 0 down. They'll help you with your down payment depending on where you're at and what needs to be done. Anybody talk about my friend here? This is Dumbledore. He's from Harry Potter. I replaced the other 2. He's so cute. I love him. And okay. So that's all I have for today, and please make sure to follow me on everything and to join my email list, and I will see you guys when I see ya. I gotta put this on YouTube and Pinterest, everything.